Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention because we are going to get started. Gentlemen, we are going to get started right at 4:30. Excuse me. We are going to get started right at 4:30, and I am delighted to be able to present to you today someone by the name of Sophie Ringel. She's going to talk to you about what it is that she does and some of the projects that she does down here in Miami, with hopes that you all will be interested and perhaps get connected to what it is that she does. She was supposed to come and speak to us last week, but her busy schedule prevented her from doing that, so we are so glad that we were able to get her today. We understand that you all will be finished with class at 5 o'clock, so the presentation will not be very long, but I would like for you all to please put your hands together for Miss Sophie Ringel.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I promise I'll be quick. I know you all have a busy schedule, and I try to make it as fun as possible. So my name is Sophie. I moved from Germany to Miami about 7 years ago, and then to Miami Beach, and I like to go for walks on the beach, but all I noticed was plastic, especially single-use plastic along the dunes. There were so many straws, utensils, and bags, and I had to do something about it. So I started to pick it up. And I met somebody else also picking up trash, and I was so excited. I'm not the only crazy person. I connected with her, and we decided to go pick up trash together once a week after work for an hour, and that was our very first cleanup. That was March in 2019, and we even found all these bags that we used as trash bags and just picked up trash. And I posted this picture on Instagram, and I had the personal account that I brought over from Germany, and I tagged Miami pages, and they reshared it, and it was pretty cool actually, because then people reached out and asked, hey, how can I help? I want to join. When are you going again? I like the ocean too. Let's do something together. So week after week, more and more people joined, and it was really awesome. I thought it was pretty cool. And we even have down here the police chief, Rick Clemens, and Ernesto, also from the Miami Beach Police Department. And then, wow, like the police is even coming to my cleanup. And it just kept growing and growing to a point where we were 140 people at one of my beach cleanups. That's when I realized that I'm no longer just a neighborhood group, that I have created a movement, and I wanted to take it to the next level. So I became an official organization here in the state of Florida. And today, I can say with a lot of pride that I hosted over 277 cleanups, worked with almost 11,000 volunteers, and picked up more than 87,000 pounds of trash. Thanks. I want to highlight one specific location I like to go. It's the Causeway Julia Tuttle that connects Miami mainland with Miami Beach. And each time we go there, we pick up thousands of pounds of trash. We actually just were there on Saturday for World Cleanup Day, and we removed another 2,900 pounds of trash over and over. And I see you guys, what's the point, right? I know, I get it, but I don't even like picking up other people's trash. But leaving it in nature is even worse. And I'm really on this mission of inspiring people to learn more about the environment and to start caring for our ocean. Still, so much plastic remains, and I want to dive in. Why is that the case? So the history of plastic is it got mass-produced in World War II and started to hit the market in a big scale in 1950. Since then, we almost produced 10 billion tons of plastic. Plastic was never meant to be recyclable. It was always just a marketing strategy. This magazine was the way of communication in the 50s. It was on the title of the Life magazine, and it was a revolution celebration that we now have finally single-use plastics and we don't have to do dishes anymore. Also, these advertisements were a big thing, packing babies in plastic. I'm not so sure if that's the right thing to do. And it even says here, they come fresh, stay fresh longer, less waste. Yeah, of course, when food is packaged in plastic, we don't have as much food waste. But what about the plastic? The Dixie cup, I know you all are using red Solo cups every now and then, and that was because of all these marketing strategies back then, and I want to read this out really quick. No more piled up counters and sinks, no more between meal dishwashing, no more glasses to be dried and put away, no more broken glasses, handy for the whole family all year round, for fruit juices, milk, soft drinks, ideal for outdoor dining in hot summer months. So you see, marketing was really pushing hard for everyone to use single-use plastic. And it became a culture, and it's still there today. That's why we're still using all this single-use plastic. So the modern plastic production, you can see how in this graph here, how it increased. In the last 20 years, it doubled, and not really doubled, almost doubled. And in the next 30 years, it is expected to double by 2040. So we already know there's so much plastic in the ocean, and yet we just continue to produce more. Again, nearly 10 billion tons of plastic have been produced since 1950. We could fill 100 moons with plastic. That's how much that is. So how and why do plastics enter the environment? 80% of the world's ocean plastic enter the ocean via rivers and coastlines, and only 20% comes from industrial fishing. This video is in Guatemala. They don't have a waste management system at all. They just throw their trash into the rivers, and of course they lead into the ocean. So the company, the Ocean Cleanup, is another organization that are fighting really, really hard to install trash barriers, and they have a great system in the ocean deployed already that is picking up all the plastic, not all of it, but a lot that is already floating in the ocean. So definitely check them out. They're doing really great work. And both of these images, video and image, this is in August in 2022. So this is still happening today. There's several islands in our ocean that are full of plastic. The biggest one is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and it's twice the size of Texas. This map shows you how all the rivers and streams in our beautiful country, and you can see that everything is connected. So no matter where you live, no matter where you are, every time it rains, the rain washes all the trash that's littered in the streets right through the canals, storm drains into our canals and into the ocean. This is a map of Miami-Dade County, also highlighted all the rivers and canals. So you can see here too, this area is also connected with the ocean. So on this video over here, I'm showing a storm drain. And these are storm drains. This is how they look here in Miami. They're just filled with plastic. And every time it rains, it washes it right through there into our canals. And this one right here, that one is definitely the reason why we also have flooding everywhere. You know, it's just so full of plastic, so water can't even drain. See all the bags and all that bad stuff. So I don't think that video is going to play. So this is a landfill in Opaloka, and we had to throw our trash ourselves. Usually the city picks it up, but on that day we had to go ourselves. And when you stand up on that landfill, that's crazy, guys. I like. It is really, really hard to see this mountain of trash, and it's just one of them. And realizing that all the single-use plastics we use one time, the red Solo cups, the utensils, the bags, the straws, they sit here in these lands maybe even thousands of years. And I always wonder, what are we doing to our planet? Or why are we like this? This is what throwing away looks like when we throw things away. That's where it goes. In 2017, in Miami-Dade County, we produced over 5 million tons of trash. That's the equivalent to 25,000 planes of the type A747. And only 1% of that got recycled. The effects of plastic on our environment. So plastic is made to last forever. It can't biodegrade. It only breaks into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. And I brought a few. I'm good, thank you. So this jar is what I'm talking about when plastic breaks into smaller pieces. This is what I pick up here on the beach, right here. This bird, I caught this picture, I shot this photo. I tried to catch the bird, but I couldn't catch him. It's a heron, and you can see he has fishing line around his beak and neck, so he was unable to fish, and unfortunately I couldn't catch him, and he never came back. So I'm assuming he died because of plastic pollution. And what also happens to animals, they mistake plastic for food. They accidentally eat it. They can't tell the difference if it's food or plastic. This is an albatross mom feeding her chick with plastic. This turtle was found in Boca Raton, just a bit north of here, last year in August, and they did a necropsy on him and found 344 pieces of plastic in its stomach. And this is another one that was found in December, also last year, and almost 900 pieces of plastic were in the turtle's stomach. So this one we were able to save, to rescue, because it was just entangled in one of these yellow bottles, but not everyone can be rescued. So I brought some more of these bags here, and we were wondering, because we find them at every single cleanup, and we found out that they only get produced in one place, and it's the island that the Dominican Republic and Haiti share. That's 700 miles that way. So every time we go to the beach, we find these bottles. So that shows us how far trash travels, and many have bite marks from fish. Turtles also can't tell the difference between a jellyfish and a plastic bag. For them, it looks alike. For us, it's sometimes even hard to see the difference. So turtles eat jellyfish, but now they eat plastic bags. And scientists even found out that plastic bags smell like jellyfish. This whale was washed ashore in Key West last year, and was dead because of also plastic pollution in its stomach. This crab now lives in this home. They actually live in seashells, but this one now lives in a plastic bottle cap. And the projection is that in 2050, there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish by weight if we don't change our behavior and plastic consumption. So I took these two pictures, this one and the top one. This is MacArthur Causeway, the other causeway that leads to Miami Beach. And seeing this is pretty hard. It's tough because all of that is in our ocean, and with every wave coming in, more plastic gets washed ashore. On the bottom right picture, you see microplastics, so everything that's smaller than 2 millimeters is called microplastics, and that's what gets into our food, into our salt, into our water, into our fish, especially fish, but everything else as well. So there are now more than 170 trillion pieces of plastic in our ocean. That is 850 times more the numbers of stars in our galaxy. And it also means 21,000 pieces of plastic per person on our Earth. Those numbers are so crazy, and yet that we all know this, we still want to produce more plastic and double the plastic production. Scientists estimate that we eat 1 credit card worth of plastic every week unknowingly. Plastic has now also been found in human blood. By the way, that was our strangest find on the beach. People always ask us, what's the weirdest thing you found? We found this blood bag. Here you can see how, through what we ingest plastic the most. So bottled water counts for 94% of microplastic ingestion. So if you drink water out of a plastic water bottle, that's how you ingest all these microplastics. Plastic has also now been found in the placenta of unborn babies. Now that I thoroughly depressed you, what can we do to help? What you can do is reduce, refuse, repurpose, reuse, and our last option is recycle. Always ask yourself if you really need that single-use plastic item, or if you could switch it to a reusable one. Invest time and effort into lifestyle changes, be more mindful, and learn to reuse the things we already have instead of creating more waste. I know there's now all these incredibly amazing bioplastics, like bioplastic straws and bioplastic utensils, but they only biodegrade in an industrial composting facility, which we don't have here in Florida. You would need to ship those bioplastics out of state because they need a certain pressure and they need a certain temperature in order to actually biodegrade. So bioplastics, if they end up in the ocean, they're just as harmful and damaging as regular plastics. You can use a reusable water bottle. Americans use 50 billion water bottles every year. That's over 70 million every day. You can also use a reusable cup, and when you party, just bring your own cup and take it home. You can bring your own bag to the grocery store, and if you just grab a quick snack from Walgreens or something, you just carry it in your hand or put it in your bag. You can have your lunch in a reusable lunch container. So there's a lot of food that comes in a plastic container you can microwave. That's how the plastics, the additives, and the chemicals lead right into your food. It's extremely damaging. It's very harmful because you're ingesting the chemicals that are in the plastic when you heat up plastic. You can also use a bamboo toothbrush. And, of course, balloons. What goes up must come down. The video on the right is a friend of mine. He works down in the Everglades, and he finds these balloons all the time. Just don't let them go, okay? Like, it's really not good for our wildlife. Also, birds can get entangled in the strings. And if we want to celebrate somebody, we can do this by planting a tree or buying some flowers or doing some other things that don't harm the environment. Also, what you can do is you can always choose a can over a plastic. For example, you want a soda, you can get the soda in a can, because an aluminum can, first of all, is recyclable indefinitely. You can over and over and over recycle it. It never loses quality. But plastic, you need 4 plastic bottles to make 1 new one. So plastic is made out of polymers that are chained together. And each time they get recycled, they break and get shorter and shorter. So you need more old plastic to make new plastic. That's why it's not working, because if you have a business and you look at your costs, you choose the cheapest way so you can produce your products. So it doesn't make sense for anybody who's making plastic to use 4 times as much as they would need versus virgin plastic, because they just can make it. Recycling is a real challenge here in Miami. It's so confusing, it's very hard, and it's not consistent. I'm not sure how it is in your house, but you need to have a separate contract with a recycling company, otherwise it goes all in the same bin. And these are the only things that are recyclable in Miami-Dade County. So if your yogurt container or your takeout container is not on here, it's not recyclable. So the only thing is clean plastic bottles, clean glass bottles, paper magazines, cardboard, no pizza cartons, and clean canned these cans and aluminum cans. Everything else doesn't go on a recycling bin. So also you can't bag your recyclables in a plastic bag because they clog the machines, and there's not a person that opens that bag and then puts it on a thing. There's 7 different types of plastic. I'm not going to dive into that. If you're interested, just look it up. Every plastic is made out of a different formula, different ingredients, basically. And when you want to recycle them, you also can only recycle one, which is PET with PET. So you can't recycle 1 and 2 together. It has to be sorted by type of plastic. And it's also very complicated, because it's almost impossible when you have your recycling in a recycling bin, and then it goes to the single stream recycling center. How is that machine going to know what type of plastic that one bottle and then one other container is? And what else you can do is you can talk about plastic pollution with your friends and family. You can go pick up trash on your own, or you can come to a cleanup. 50% of the plastic produced in America is only used once. So that's bottles, that's cups, that's all the plastic packaging. And it's also very sad because it just stays on this planet forever and we use it one time. There's a few you can watch. My favorite one is A Plastic Ocean, and I also like the story of plastic a lot. So if you want to learn more, take a quick pic of that. Anyway, I'm not sure, are we able to play a YouTube video? It's just 1 minute. On the screen? Okay, let's see if it runs. It's just a minute, or 2 minutes. We can't really hear it. Can we get audio? Oh. Thanks.
Wrapped in plastic, it is put into a box. And the box is put on a pallet. And the pallet is put into a container. And the container is put on a truck. And the truck drives to a port. And the container is put on a ship. And the ship. The spoon arrives 6,000 kilometers around the world. Where it's picked up by a merchant who puts it on a truck and drives it to a store. Where it's placed on a shelf in a temperature-controlled room. Where it sits for 2 months until you select it and pay for it. With the money you worked hard for, and you drive it to home, which is where you are standing right now, with the spoon in your hand. Now tell me, do you still think it's too much effort to use a metal spoon that you just have to wash?
How do I get back? Oh, I have to go back to you. Mm-hmm.
You're almost done. All right, so we're already at the end of the presentation. These are our contact information. So on all the socials, we're Clean Miami Beach. We also have a website. It's linked in the link tree and our Instagram bio, or you just go there. It's cleanmiamibeach.org, and there's more cleanups that are being hosted on another page. It's volunteercleanup.org. My name is Sophie. My email is sophie.ringel@cleanmiamibeach.org. Yeah, I was. Thank you, guys. Yeah, do you have any questions, anyone? Yes, please. Two more minutes.
All right. I wanted to say thank you for what you're doing because it's actually amazing that an individual is doing such an amazing job. So my question is, looking at the companies that actually produce all these plastics, are there like social responsibilities that they are meant to hold them accountable to make sure that the plastics they produce do not actually affect the planet adversely?
Excellent question, and the answer is, of course, yes. They should take responsibility. It's been a long fight. It's going back and forth, but it's only a finger-pointing game because the plastic industry, the lobby, has a big role. Now that we're building all these electric cars, we need to figure out how to continue to produce oil, and that's why we want to increase plastic consumption and production in general. So it's been a really tough one to figure out how to get Coke and all the other huge, massive corporations to stop producing so much plastic. So the city of Miami Beach has done something really cool. On all their city vendors, their public vending machines, they had Coke as their contractor, and it was a $10 million contract. So the city of Miami Beach wanted only cans instead of plastic bottles because you can get a Coke in a plastic bottle or in a can. And the Coke company did not want to do that, so the city of Miami Beach reached out to Pepsi. And Pepsi is just as terrible as Coke in plastic production. However, they were willing to turn this $10 million contract into an aluminum contract. So, well, it sounds weird, but you guys get what I'm saying. So they supplied the city only for the next 15 years, I believe, only with cans instead of plastic bottles. So I believe the easiest way is if the consumer takes action, obviously the responsibility should not only be on the consumer, but that's just the way it is right now. And yeah, go vote, I guess. Like, try to vote for a government that actually cares for the planet instead of destroying it. Any other questions?
How many of you all go to the beach or like to go to the beach? You live in South Florida. So when you go on the beach, I'm sure that you eat and you drink. After watching this video, I'm hoping that you really understand the seriousness and the dangers of just kind of throwing your soda can down on the sand, or if you're eating something and it's a plastic spoon and you just throw it down, some type of way that could end up in the ocean. And you could have any of the sea creatures that can ingest it. I've seen documentaries of sea animals that have had plastic soda, the plastic thing wrapped around their necks, some of the plastic stuck in the throat. It's so sad. We have to remember that there are living creatures that live in the ocean. And when you pollute and just throw your trash on the sand, it can end up in the ocean, and it can end up being ingested by any of the sea creatures. So we have people like Sophie that are doing a phenomenal job of not only cleaning up the beaches, but saving the lives of many of the sea creatures. So I want you all to be more responsible and more cognizant when you go to the beach about the sea creatures. Is that too much to ask?
No.
Okay. Let's give her another round of applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. And thank you, I appreciate it.
Last question, are there any cleanups that are coming up anytime soon that the students might want to participate in?
Yeah, of course. So we have a big cleanup come up on the 30th, on Saturday in Wynwood. Annabelle right over here knows all the information and will let you all know how to register for it. And what I also want to say, guys, I'm serious, like the ocean is really, really, really amazing and very important. Did you guys know that every second breath we take comes from the ocean? It's not just from the trees. There's all these corals and fish and anything in the ocean produces oxygen for us. So let's care just a little more for our ocean. And it's small little things. Nobody has to do anything perfect. It's the small things. And no, I don't need a straw. And hey, I'm going to bring my reusable water bottle. Thank you guys again. I hope to see you out there. Thanks.